I'll explain it to you. See, people tune in to see other people suffer. And if the host is suffering, people want to hear the story. See?
Well, I have a fantastic travel story for you from last week where trust me, I was suffering because I know you love that. But the first thing I want to know is
Hmm.
how was the first week of your vacation?
It was pretty successful.
Yeah?
There was still remnant work to do. I'm fully caught up with Asshole Consulting. Some guy who didn't follow instructions, like if someone sends me a request, I have an automatic email response. I say, here's the price for video, here's the price for email. If you're interested, make the corresponding payment here. And also in big capital letters. And also inform me here if when you do and which one you want. Well, the guy never informed me back. So I have a follow-up email like after a week or so. I said, were you still interested in it? Yeah, but you could refund me if you're not going to do it. It's like, okay, you obviously didn't follow the instructions. So now this, it's sad. It's a military guy. But just because you're military doesn't mean you're perfect. There's a lot of douchebags in the military. So it's like, well, you don't follow instructions, I guess. But aside from that, that's the only outstanding one left. What did I do? I don't remember what I did. I've been sleeping. I slept like 9.5 hours last night.
Well, I noticed you had you couldn't sleep the other night because you were live at an hour when you're like never live. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. A lot of it is I'm not drinking anymore. And when I don't drink, I can go, I go, yeah, I know you can do your pot. You can get a regular night's rest. But if I don't take that sleeping pill, I will stay up. But I forgot to take my sleeping pill. So I was up till about 2 a.m. that night, but still up at 7:30. So
well, you got some work done. You guys, this is a 9.2% by volume beer, and it's actually a tall boy. So yeah, I might get a little fun probably in about half
for
an
those of
hour or
us
so.
who don't know about this new microbrew world, what's a tall boy? Is that a big beer?
Yeah, it's just like bigger than your standard 12-ounce can. It's a
Oh,
pint. It's 16
okay.
ounces.
Did they call it a tall boy? Is that what the millennial hipsters with the mustaches called it in their microbrew pubs?
The normal people who drink beer would know what a tall boy is.
Really? Okay, I
Yeah.
don't have to be a hipster from Brooklyn. Going to the local brew pub
You
to know
don't
what
have to
that
be a
is.
hipster from Brooklyn or the Wicker Park area of
Okay,
Chicago to know
right.
that.
Has that become? Did that go hipster? I know that was actually
Very
where
much
cool
so.
people. Really? Okay, so when I was there, good-looking people were there. It was fun. It was a good time. Girls who said yes to dates lived there. Now it's whatever. The Winnetka kids come down and think they're living in the big city, kind of.
Do you remember a neighborhood called Logan Square in Chicago?
I remember the name. I couldn't place it on a map though.
It's not too far away from Wicker Park. That's the real hippie place in town now.
All
I
right.
don't go there.
Did they displace any minority kids? Like, did they become gentrified? Did all of Daddy's money from DePaul students push out the poor people or the
Oh
Latinos?
no. No,
No.
that was near North Old Town. There was this neighborhood called Cabrini Green that was known to be
Yeah,
like,
of
yeah, you
course.
remember
Yeah, I
Cabrini
remember
Green?
where that was. Yeah, on Clark and down by the Gold
Oh
Coast.
yeah, Clark. Now it's Yuppie Central.
What did they turn Cabrini Green into? Like just housing, I presume.
Yeah, housing, condos. They built a new Target there a few years
Oh,
ago. You know that crap.
those
There's a Whole Foods
assholes.
there now.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, I prefer Cabrini Green. Oh God. Oh
It's
my
way
God.
different than it
Those.
was when Candyman came out.
Oh my God. Oh, a Target and a whole. Oh, I could just picture. Wait, Chad. Chad, are you sitting down, man? Are you sitting
Oh,
down?
oh.
Okay, bro. How about this? Okay. Commercial downstairs, residential above. Huh? Is that what it all is down there now?
Let's just say Chicago has always been envious of New York City. That's why they call it the second city. Well, now they're envious of Manhattan's rent prices, and they're doing everything they can to catch up to them with these luxury townhomes and apartments that really aren't that nice, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but I was always surprised how affordable Chicago housing was. A lot of people, oh, Chicago housing
Still
is so
is.
expensive. It's like it's very affordable for certainly a
Yes.
major metro and even a regular metro. And I was always kind of impressed about that.
I lived in two major cities before moving here. I lived in Washington, D.C. and New York City, Brooklyn.
Hmm.
So when I first got to Chicago and people were like, God, the rents here are so expensive. I'm like, are you insane? Like, it's
Yeah.
still very cheap to live here for a big city. But what I'm saying is they're trying to gentrify these neighborhoods so they can be more like San Francisco and New York City in terms of the real estate prices.
They are becoming like San Francisco, so soon no one's going to want to live there, and people will be pooping in the street. And I'm not joking. I don't know if you've ever been to San Francisco, but I went
Oh,
to San
yeah.
Francisco like,
It's bad.
yeah, I went to San Francisco 17 years ago. First time I ever went there, I was 30. And you went downtown, and I'm like, okay, I know it's a big leftist crap hole, but I could see why people live here. It was vibrant. There were people around. The last time I went there to get a certain permission slip from a certain government, I had to go to the whatever, their cathedral, their estate. What do they call it?
Uh, what you mean?
The representative. Like if you're from a country and they
Oh,
have
the
a country,
consulate?
the
The consular
consulate. Thank
section?
you. I was like
Yeah.
trying to think of their church. What do they call it?
Yeah.
Downtown was literally just homeless people, and it was a ghost town. And so if Chicago is envious of that, please, aren't rents going down in New York City?
I would see, I thought they were because of COVID and everything, but
Yeah.
apparently they went down a little bit and now they're just like shooting back past up where they used to be, at least in Manhattan.
I don't know. Hang on. Good luck finding one bedroom in New York City if you don't make, now that you need at least $160K a year to rent anything. That's 51 minutes ago. I guess New York is back. Renters tour 8,000 a month.
Yeah.
Why are New York rents so high right now? Who's moving back? Are people just going to live there? Or are they
I
because
guess
no one's commuting anymore, I doubt.
well, New York's still got the New York name, and people are like, I want to live in New York City, which that was the worst year of my life, so I'll never go back there.
Okay,
But
so a 6.9% decline in population in Manhattan, 3+% in the outer boroughs, and a 0.5% decrease in Staten Island. All the more median rent in Manhattan inched towards 4,000, and the vacancy rate plumbed new low. Oh, plumbed new lows. That's a good use of the word. Remote work. I guess people just want to live in New York City.
I guess they do.
I guess it is.
Yeah.
That's what they cited. So have fun, guys. Have fun.
Seriously, you couldn't. Never. I have a very important question for you because I have a silent bet with a certain somebody. Do you have any Rooster Booster Light?
Oh my God. Yes, I do. The Rooster Booster Light Fairy stopped by my post office box and gave it. Dude, I was very happy. There's a certain someone that you might know that was happy to see me so happy that I got my Rooster Booster Light. And I'm kind of spreading them out. Like I have coffee, so I don't want to overdo the caffeine. But I have like one every 2 days, and I'm very, very happy to have them.
Okay, because I thought they wouldn't last a week. Because, I mean, by the way, the shipping, we have to find a better way to get you those because the shipping costs twice as much as the actual.
I'll pay for it. I'll gladly pay you guys.
No, I don't mind sending it at all. I'm just saying I wish there was a way we could just order them online and send them to you because, man, I guess they're only available in those QTs.
Yeah, they are. They used to be in Holiday gas stations, and I think there's a couple Holiday gas stations in the Black Hills area. But they just got rid of them, man. There used to be these energy drinks called Air Force. They were so good. And they just get rid of all the good stuff. So, but yeah, I'll gladly pay for your time and labor and post
Happy
it.
to send them.
All right.
Oh, you guys, you notice we did start an hour early. Pop is always going live, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central. So a lot of you were suggesting just maybe don't be on at the same time as him. And I think this might work out, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
As you know, I never podcast really the same time or same day.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I can tell because everyone's like, oh, Pop's on. I'm like, God. And what's sad is his and my shows really have a lot of the same. There's a lot of overlap. It's I could see where people are like, oh, Pop or Cappy. And it's no shade on Pop, but it's just like, I'll wait till he's done before I go. So,
yeah. And I kind of figured that, out of respect for him, because I do enjoy, his videos and his streams. So I'll try this.
Oh, that's right. I guess because it's behind a paywall. But have you heard about his administrative violence
No.
class? It's very clever what he did. I don't know if it's still open for enrollment, but basically, since you cannot, well, you can, but you'll go to jail, physically stop your enemies. Whether, like you have to go to court, right? Whether that's for defamation or in his particular case, obviously divorce court and all that. What he did is put together a how-to course on using the court system against your spouse. So when your
Really?
spouse delivers you divorce papers, you use the system to just bog your spouse down and deplete presumably her resources, although women could use this too. And it was very clever, ethically questionable, but very clever.
Huh. A certain dentist friend of ours also had that idea because he did pretty well in that area of his life as well. So
Not only should he write a book or do a class on how to convert your wife to a girlfriend, that should be his class. How to make your wife your girlfriend. There should be a statue of his name, or a statue of him, I think, in every downtown major metro area. I think, or maybe when you go across a bridge, he should be there welcoming you to his state.
I chuckle every time I hear him talking to somebody and he's like, yeah, me and my girlfriend, we went to Missouri over the weekend. I'm like, yeah, your girlfriend.
It's the future. It's the future. I'm not saying it to sound controversial, but I think that there are going to be more not relations but situations, as Pete, the guy who refused to invite to socially gathering, calls them. There's going to be more boyfriend girlfriends or committed boyfriend girlfriends than there are going to be marriages. Marriages will be this distinct minority of relationships in yours and my lifetime. That day is coming.
I think I'm already seeing it.
Could be. Yeah, I'm sure in certain metro areas it's already the case.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I was texting you and Atham about this last week, but let me tell you, a lot of people, when I was telling those flight stories, those horror stories on one of my previous shows, a lot of people in the comments afterwards on the YouTube, they were like, hey, this is why you should never take the last flight out.
We found out why. Okay, because you said it was welfare central, essentially.
Oh my goodness. It was, well, not just that, but it actually got really bad. So I flew back up here from my Southern Command very, very, very late on Wednesday. It was the last flight out. It was scheduled for like 8:30 a.m. There was like bad weather. There were all kinds of problems going on in that particular area. It is a DFW area and then other parts of the country. So there were just delays across the board. And I have flexibility in my schedule, of course. I can work from anywhere. I'm not doing much right now. So the first thing I do is I try calling the airline, and they're like, your call is important to us. Please stay on the line. Your expected hold time is 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'm just like, all right, screw that. But because I'm so familiar with this airport now, I'm like, I know exactly where their customer service gate is. So I'll just go there in person.
You're starting to get some benefits with all this travel. Yeah.
Oh, but listen to this, dude. So my gate was something like we'll say like C12, C12. The customer service center was at C23. So really not that far. A bit of a walk, probably like a 8-minute walk or something, but not bad. So I leave C12 and I start walking towards that center, and I get to about C15, and there's this huge line that's like starting at C15, and dude, half a mile long, just like all the way down there. So I just asked the person, I'm like, this isn't the line to the customer service center, is it? And this lady's like, oh yeah, it's the line, honey. And I'm just like, shh. The long and short of it was, the original flight scheduled for 8:30 did not leave until about 12:45 a.m. Now, I don't care, but that means I didn't get to Chicago until about 2:45 a.m.
And that's not safe.
Oh, I was just about to get to that part. It's very not safe. And what happened was that, remember, this was happening all over the country. Now, normally, if you arrive at O'Hare at that time, the airport's open, but there's not a lot of people there.
All right.
It was shocking. It was like It was almost like it was 7 or 8 p.m. arriving that
Wait, so
late.
you took that flight? You stuck around for the 4 hours?
I did because I couldn't get it rebooked. And, remember, I take the train to the airport and all
Right.
that. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, well, the train stops running at midnight. And I was going online and I was trying to figure out if I could even rebook this for the next day. Forget it. Because this was right after the Memorial Day holiday. Everything was booked. So I had to stay on this original flight. I had to. And what shocked me was when we finally got to Chicago, 2:30 a.m. or whatever. There were a lot of people at the airport who were also just arriving in Chicago from other cities. So it was just absolutely bizarre. And you know what that means. So I'm like, all right, I'll just take an Uber home. What do you
Which
think
means the
happened?
prices are very high and you had a long wait.
It was really the long wait. It was both, but the long wait. So I go to the center where, you get Ubers. There's no taxis. There's no taxis there.
Oh, that's too bad. The taxis went out of business. Oh, all right.
I know. No sympathy from me. The long and short of it was I would have had to sat there for about 40 minutes and then I would have had to pay like $90 to take an Uber
God.
back.
Did you call a friend we
So
know?
what's that?
Did you call a friend we know?
I really didn't want to bother anybody. So I decided to take my life into my own hands. What do you think I did?
You rode the L.
Let me tell you what happens when you get on the L at 3 a.m.
Blue
in
line?
Chicago. It's the blue line.
Oh, look
So
who
my
remembers
plan.
this. Okay, all right.
Look at you. Yeah.
I know. We used to live in Chicago.
Yeah, I didn't know you ever rode public transportation. But anyway, so it's obviously it's never a good idea to ride the L at that time in Chicago. It doesn't matter what line or what part of town you're in, you shouldn't do it. So I'm like, all right, I don't know what else to do. So I get on the blue line because it goes like close enough to a long stretch where I can at least get somewhere where I can probably get an Uber or if all else fails, catch a bus.
Well, wait, because it comes in from the
Northwest,
west, and then you go to the loop and then hook whatever brown or orange line up.
That is if you do intend to take the L like all the way. But
Yeah.
you don't want to do that because that would take about an hour and a half. So my thought was, get to a point where I can hop out of the blue line station and then catch
Lawrence
a bus
or something up there.
Yeah, Lawrence, exactly. Yeah, and then
Look at me, boy, man.
Yeah, what the hell,
Who's your
man?
guy? I'm never getting lost in this country.
It's like 2002 all over again. You're gonna go to the Green Mill and get rejected by
1998 all over again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how long ago it was.
You're gonna get rejected by a really hot jazz singer again, or wasn't that here?
No, that's Charmin Michelle. That was at the Poodle Club in Minneapolis.
Oh, I thought that was here.
No. Charmin Michelle is a Minneapolis original, and she's still alive and just as beautiful. Yeah. Well, thanks for reminding me of that tormented, heartbreaking time in my life.
I remember you said it was the nicest rejection you've ever received.
It was the nicest rejection. She to this day she's a class act.
Hold on, Tony P says blue line at 3 a.m. You high, dude. Let me tell you he's right, but I really the circumstance. I was kind of out of options.
Right, yeah. So, but I know exactly. You're coming in from the northwest. You're on the north side. You got to take a westbound Uber, so you're going to get off at one of those stations, Foster, Lawrence, something on the north side, right?
Right. So it's eastbound, but yeah. So I had to. My hands were tied. So I'm like, all right, I'll take the blue line. This isn't a great idea. Not many other people decided to do this. They just decided to wait. About 3 stops in. So it's deserted. I'm the only person on this car. I'm obviously coming from the airport. I've got my bag, I'm kind of like this. We stop at this station. It's about 3:15 a.m. at this point. In walks, this group of 4 dudes walks in, okay? 2 of them stand. So I'm in the middle of the car. Okay.
You're in the middle, right?
2 of them stay in the car that they came in the back.
Right.
2 others walked across me to the front. And they were walking in tandem. And as one of them walked past me, I saw this big ass, one of those butterfly knives where
switchblade. Yeah.
A switchblade. And I saw that basically bursting out of his pocket. So I'm already could have just been my man.
It could have been he was a good guy and just carries that for protection too. I mean, be perfectly honest, those guys know what they're doing. They maybe work the night shift, but I could be wrong. But
the fact that there were 2 and 2 on each end of the car, and the fact that they seemed to just be standing there, and one of them was looking at me, Dude, as soon as that train, I wasn't ready to get off the train. I needed to go a little bit further down to get close. As soon as that train stopped, my ass just hightailed it the hell out of there, dude. I mean, it was probably a false alarm. It probably was.
Were they disheveled looking? Were they?
Oh yeah,
they were. Okay,
yeah.
all right. These weren't like people coming back from their night shift at the club over. Okay, all right,
So I just got the hell out of there, and ultimately, where I did get out, I was able to find there was an Uber kind of running around there, and so I was able to get it because I was closer to the city, and I got home at about 3:45 a.m. and I tipped that Uber driver like you wouldn't believe.
Move, get out of there. See, like it's one thing, like if you could carry a gun or whatever in protection, that's fine, but you can't. Not in Chicago. I'd get the hell out. I mean, that's
No, you're absolutely correct. But the one thing I want to just point out, you guys are right, and no more of these last flights of the night, because my thought process was, hey, you get to spend a whole day where you are, you can hit the gym, you can be productive, and then you just fly home. There's too many chances of delays, and it's just a disaster. So I agree with all of you guys who said in the comments, take an early flight in the day. Don't do this.
So the early, I'll see, now I'm trying to wonder, but people are lazy, are going to do the same thing. But it was always my impression the cheap flights is what got the poor and disheveled people in.
Yeah.
Or is it the convenience that they're lazy and they don't want to wake up early?
I think it's the cheap flights because, that's, I don't know if you know this, airfares are absolutely atrociously expensive right now. I mean, it's horrible. So the cheapest flights right now are first thing in the morning. And when I say first thing, I mean like wheels up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Or the flights that I'm taking. So I've already got trips booked, but I'm just going to suck it up and take the really early flights or pay a little extra to not be in these situations.
My question is this, what would a 5 a.m. flight out of Fort Worth cost?
Well, that would probably, I don't know what it would cost, but I will say it would cost probably, and I'm not exaggerating, close to $100 cheaper than like the other times. So, but you have to remember, when I'm in Fort Worth, I take that train, to DFW. I also have to get to the train station to downtown Fort Worth to
solution for you.
What's that?
Is there not a hotel at the Dallas Fort Worth airport?
There is, but I mean, you got to remember why I'm going down there and who I want to hang out with when I'm down there. I want to maximize that time, and that particular person, it doesn't really work with their work schedule to do things like that.
Yeah, but let's say you got to take the 5 a.m. flight, right? You're getting up at 2:30,
right?
And by that time, you might as well. So you're, the girl drops you off at the airport that night. You get a good night's rest, or at least some. You wake up, you're off to the gates at 4, and you're not dealing with getting slashed on the L at 3 a.m. the next day.
Well, I should clarify a little bit here. When I say I would take the really early morning ones, I mean from here to go down there, because I can maneuver that. That's fine.
All right.
And those are the really the cheaper ones. It's a little bit more, even, not great, but it's a little more even coming from DFW up here. But coming from here to there, there's a lot more of a disparity depending on the time of the day. At least that's what I've noticed. So I'm just going to be smarter about this going forward.
Well, and it took me a while to appreciate this. And this with me paying more taxes and earlier than I ought to and all that other stuff. But the value of your time, when you said there's a 3-hour wait, that's enough time for me. It's like, fuck it, I'll get a new flight. Like I'll go back. Like 3 hours, I can do so much in 3 hours. It is not, I will get a new flight. And if you assume there's going to be, let's just say, an hour of fuckery, right? Delays, Uber and all that. Well, in your case, it's $150, $200 an hour, whatever. That's a significant opportunity cost. And now it's worth paying for the convenience. Like, no, I'll pay to go into the early flight or the late flight, whatever gets me there with the least amount of people that smell like feet on a plane, and I don't have to take the L. No, I'm serious, because you come out money ahead because you can work from your laptop. I mean, you could drum up that money right off the bat.
I do want to be fair. With that delay, when I was stuck at DFW and I was basically biting the bullet and was just going to write out the delay, I actually was able to get quite a bit of work done because I just plugged in at the gate, with my laptop, and I did have some work to do. So, I still can do work. But to your point, I think I've reached a point where I can be a little bit less price sensitive about this and really focus on the times working out. So that's what I'm going to do going forward. But I mean, why airfares are so high right now, right?
No, I assume gas prices, but are people trying to travel for the Memorial Day season? It's summertime. That's what I would, some general natural explanations.
It's a combo of the fuel prices, and also people, of course, were not flying for 2020 and 2021 because of the, Corona Chan. So I think people are sort of coming back with a vengeance now that it's, quote, over. Of course, who knows if it's really over, but it's just a lot of factors. And there's staff shortages because of the layoffs that the airlines had. They've cut service. One of the reasons we were delayed was because we couldn't get any freaking flight attendants. There were people in the gate screaming like, "We don't need any," like, "I'll serve." This one dude was like, "I'll serve the fucking drinks, let us leave." It's pretty funny, actually.
Well, let me run an idea past you here, Mr. Elkins. It is only a 15-hour drive from Dallas, Texas to Chicago, Illinois.
Well, it has to be longer than that, right?
Well, it's not. Well,
It's
with
not?
traffic, you're dealing with Chicago, so let's call it 16 hours. I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have to get a car if you go down to Fort Worth anyway, and it'd be good driving experience because it's not all that populated. I mean, you go through Springfield, but once you get out of Chicago, you'd be all right.
Our friend who I was just telling you about, our dentist, he and I were just talking about that because he is thinking of, I won't say where, but he's thinking of relocating, at least for part of the year, directly halfway in between the
I
two.
think that is a great idea.
Do you know which area I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I know. But
Yeah.
I know, why are we so secretive about him? We would never mention his name, but I mean, do people really care who our anonymous
I don't
dentist
think
is
so.
and where he lives? Or is
He
it
wants to
did
come
he
on the
request?
show sometime, but he didn't.
Oh.
He wouldn't care. He likes Branson. Like, he really liked the area. They went over there over Memorial Day weekend.
He was telling me that. I'm like, Branson, really? But he's a quirky guy, so I could see him kind of doing it down there. He's definitely his own character.
Have you been to Branson? I've never.
No.
Yeah.
It's like Nashville, but not as loud or young. It's a lot of tourists, old time people, bus tours, and singing and performing, kind of like Opryland, but not in Tennessee or wherever Opryland is. It actually is a surprising tourist destination.
Huh. I've heard that. Like, it's not Vegas, obviously,
No,
but it has
no,
this
it's
Vegas undertone to it, without the
maybe.
gambling. Yeah.
But I was kind of like, really? But hey, if he enjoys it, good for him. I thought he would have enjoyed Rapid City. But
he wants to see you soon this summer.
soon.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, when are you and another anonymous female friend going to come visit me in South Dakota? I mean, I'm expecting that anytime here because actually, like, Lucifer and Geronimo are coming out. I got some buddies because they're all single now. Like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, well, you want to come out? So
The earliest that would be the fall, because like we're going to Hawaii next month. Then I have to go see my nephew in Oregon. We got all this.
You got stuff. All right, you got plans. All right, so you're not coming out till fall.
At the earliest, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So don't worry about conflicts. You can get the little, Geronimo and Lucifer in there.
Lucifer and Geronimo, man. We're gonna find fossils, and I tell you about. Wait. Remember that swing set that you want to go off into the river?
Yeah.
That rope swing. Okay, let me tell the audience, in case we don't know this about Chad Elkins' lore. So the Rapid Creek comes out of the hills. It's the main creek. It's not a river. You could probably walk across it in most places. But there's this one part that it hits in the downtown park, and it digs a hole where it's about 5 feet deep. And many years ago, someone put a swing, like a rope, that you could swing out and go from the side of the creek into there, and you drop in. So we take you, me, and Chris, the tornado chasing kid, were there. And I think, did Chris go in too, or was it just me?
I have pictures of both of you
Okay.
shirtless, like on that thing. So it must have been both of you.
Okay, so both of us go. Chad doesn't like fun. He doesn't want to go in there. He's just taking pictures and videos of us. So, and it's fun. It's like, it was like a hot day. You swing into it, you let go. It's like a Mountain Dew commercial from the 80s. It was wonderful. And
Right.
so Lucifer and Geronimo come out, and I said, do you girls want to go off the swing? I describe it to them into the river. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, but I got to go in first because it's a little deep and you're not quite 5 feet tall, but I'll make sure you get up to the side of the hill or the side of the stream. So what do you think happened?
Okay, so you went first.
I went first.
Was it too shallow?
No, it was deep enough, but this is like a month ago and it was cold. You know, this is like snow melt, very chilly water.
Oh, it was freezing.
Oh God, it was horrible. But I can't show weakness in front of my nieces. I'm their hero. You know, this is like Iron Man shying away from a fight. I can't. And I couldn't. I had to go. So I go in, and it is freezing. All right. So now you got Lucifer and Geronimo. Guess what they do?
They go in and they don't even feel it. They wouldn't do it.
They stab me in the back and betray me. The best we got was Geronimo to swing up, but she wouldn't let go. And then Lucifer wanted nothing to do with it. And I'm like, okay, thanks a lot. So Uncle Aaron went in and froze his balls off. So maybe they're coming again soon. So maybe this time, if the sun is out, they'll do it.
I'm going sailing with a buddy of mine who you know on Friday. And so, of course, we'll be on Lake Michigan.
Food is not fun. Okay. Food is not fun.
Lean meats, colorful veggies. He might be listening. I was texting with him earlier.
I had carrot cake with an inch of frosting on top of it. It was great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Someone told me you've lost weight. So anyway, it's been really cold here. And whenever I go out on the sailing with him, we usually jump in. But that ain't happening because that water's going to be
Lake
freezing.
Michigan? Oh, gosh, you don't go until at least
September.
July. Yeah.
August or September.
Yeah. Like even Lake Superior, because everyone goes to Duluth, you know, from the Twin Cities, they're aware of that. But Lake Superior never gets warm. I mean, it just unfreezes, and people go, they go swimming in that thing.
I wouldn't. I went to the UP of Michigan last October. No, I would never set foot in Lake Superior.
Another reason not to swim in the Great Lakes.
What's that?
Lampreys. You ever see a lamprey?
Mm-mm.
Gonna do an image search of a lamprey.
Lampray.
EY. Lamprey.
Lamprey is
REY.
Ooh, is that an eel?
That's an eel, and it's got all those teeth.
That looks horrible.
They're horrible. They're in the Great Lakes. Yeah, you don't want to go swimming too deep. They'll get you. I mean, they won't kill you, but like you don't want. And they're like they can get long, the size of a snake, big one. You don't want to have those attach themselves to you.
Well, the good news about the lake shoreline here in Chicago is that the water's so polluted they probably won't go anywhere near there. So with all the dead bodies and shit. So, the only other thing, I do have a bunch of tax and accounting things I want to talk about, but the only other thing I wanted to mention, because I know this is like near and dear to you, I'm a little bit somber. I am moving out of my office this week. So,
yeah, that is kind of an end of an era, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was there yesterday all day, like kind of packing stuff up, shredding. And it truly made me sad. But you know what, you guys, everything's become virtual because of COVID. This is, accounting. You become a CPA or a tax guy, you don't need an office just because it's all virtual, but it still makes me sad to leave there. So, well,
that was kind of like your first real step, I'd say, into like establishing it's one thing when you file an LLC, you get an EIN, you set up a bank account. That's not physical or tangible, but then you get yourself an office and you pay some rent on it. All of a sudden that is very real.
Yeah. But it just didn't make sense because they raised the rent. And I'm not kidding you, all tax season, maybe like 3 people were willing to come and see me in the office.
Yeah, so it's not worth it.
And, because the gal down in Texas mentioned that, she said, I'm trying to get rid of that couch that's in the office. So if there's anyone in the Chicagoland area that could use a couch, just come get it because I need to get it out of there. It's a very nice couch.
Can't you just leave it on the street and some homeless guy will steal it?
That is my last resort thing, but I had some good experiences on that couch, so I would like it to go to a good home. But
really, so now you think someone's going to buy it now that you've had good experiences on the couch?
Well, I mean, family-friendly experience.
Yeah, I know. You're not helping the salesmanship of this.
Clarey, you've slept on that couch because it used to be in my apartment, remember?
Wait, But you've always had your office since I've known you. Did you
Yes.
move the couch from that to the office?
When you visited me one time
Yeah.
the year before I got the office, I had the exact same couch. You remember that? And then you remember when you were at O'Shaughnessy's and that whole group was there? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I knew you before you had the office. I always thought you had the office.
No, I got that in 2017. So it's only been 5 years, and I really feel terrible, but it's just not worth the expense anymore. Ooh, Atha made the chat.
There's a sad aspect to it because I never like going downtown to work in a cube, but that Sam Spade office, like if you were downtown, whether you were a lawyer or a detective or an accountant, back in the day, it's like, okay, I'm downtown. There's a professional feel that came with it, and even a feel of making it. And now that it's completely obsolete, you don't need it. But it wouldn't be bad. And that was a cool building. The atrium when you walked in, it was really. Was it a spiral staircase too?
It is, yeah. I'm going back there tomorrow to finish everything up, but man, I'm gonna miss it.
You take some pictures?
I'll take some pictures, yeah.
Yeah, get some pictures, yeah.
Gave away the mini fridge I sold the mini fridge yesterday, and man, I hated to see that thing get wheeled away.
Why didn't you bring it back to your place?
I didn't need it. Plus, I don't know. It's time for all that stuff to go. So.
Well, you got never mind. You got a regular fridge at your place,
right? Yeah, I got. All right. So some things I want to tell you about because I'm not sure you knew this. After my last couple of shows here, last week while I was still down south, I actually had 2 separate Zoom sessions with fans of yours who came to the show and wanted to talk about some things.
Did you get paid?
Yes. Okay. So that's the first thing I want to make sure you knew.
Right.
But they were both essentially exactly the same sessions, 2 different people. It was more of a career counseling thing. And this is why I really felt like I wanted to mention this at least for a few minutes. They were 2 gentlemen, different parts of the country, and they have successful careers. Okay. Like they're making good money, but they were looking to get out of them and they were interested in what I do. And they were asking how to get into that position. And they're like, I did the research. It would take me X years of getting an undergraduate degree in accounting. And then I would have to do this and sit for the CPA, X, Y, Z. You guys, I touched on this before, but Clary, do you know what an enrolled agent
is? We've talked about it's the certification you get from the IRS to help with taxes.
Correct. You guys, if you want to do what I do and you're absolutely sure you want to stick to taxes and no other area of accounting that requires a certification, you don't have to go back to school. You don't have to get a master's in accounting. You don't have to sit for the CPA exam. Just get your enrolled agent certification. You don't even need a degree to get your EA. You just have to pass 3 exams that the IRS administers. So I just want to emphasize that because I think people are confused. You can be a tax preparer without, going through the hoops of becoming a CPA or a tax accountant or a tax attorney. Okay. And the only other thing I want to mention with this is that CPAs and attorneys are, as you can imagine, maybe a little bit critical about the EA certification because, we had to work really hard to get our certifications. I'm not one of those people because, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to do taxes. I think it's perfectly fine if you just study, take exams, get some experience in doing it. So and I'm still getting emails about this. So you guys, you don't have to say, how do I be able to do taxes? Just look up the enrolled agent. Yeah.
You know what's going to happen.
They're probably going to keep emailing.
They're going to keep do you know how long I've been getting emails? Do I major in it? Do I major in it? I even make fun of those people now. Guess what happened? They still come in. And I'm not talking, do I major in this? I've thought about like there's an actual question where they're just outsourcing it. They're not going to listen because there's also new people coming in all the time. But be prepared and here's what you may want to do. You may say, look, I'll answer that on email, but I'm not doing it on the show because I've talked about it. But in your particular case, it'll be $30. I mean, charge money, man. That's
well, that's what I did. And like I said, I'm happy to keep doing it, but I mean, just pay attention, you guys, But
they may not tune into this show.
I
some people may, I mean, it's I've been doing this for 8 years now, and it's generally, not very generally, the same dozen questions roughly or so. And where the value comes in is in their individual unique differences in their individual situation. But when it comes to enrolled agent, that's kind of a universal answer that you could just say, hey, go do it.
Yeah, and the reason I bring it up is because the guys, and I'm not criticizing them, it's just in general, the questions I get about this, it's always, hey, I heard you talking about the EA on your show. I think, how do I do what you do? And I'm like, well, were you listening to what I said about the EA? So, but hey, I'll take your money.
Hang on. What did we learn though? What did we learn about people's listening to the show? This is very important.
Well, they don't always pay attention to what is said on the show, but that's
right.
okay.
But how long do people listen to your 1.5-hour show?
This is a deserved comment that you guys, I already have 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. That ended up being quicker and easier than I thought.
That was, yeah, no, that was, thank you very much to everybody. Yeah.
So, as Clarey has mentioned before, even I mentioned it, you need to have 4,000 total watch hours of your streams or your videos in order to become eligible to take super chats. And that's all I care about. I want Clarey to make money off this thing.
That's the only reason we're here. Yes.
That's the only
for my benefit. Yes.
And, I see the analytics of this. I'm getting plenty of views, but the issue is that people are only tuning in. I think I'm up to about 26 minutes.
Oh, 26 whole
26 minutes on average.
On now, 110-minute program, right.
My my shows, I've kept them about, between 90 and 100 minutes, the first three. So I wish people would listen to them longer, but I don't really know how to make them do that. So,
well, you can't. And I myself am trying to figure it out. Now you got 26 minutes, right? Okay. Guess what the average listening time to my videos are?
I'm going to say higher, right? Because you're
10 minutes.
Really?
Well,
even your streams?
No, I'd have to separate my streams from my consultations. So I think since my consultations only last 20 minutes or 25 minutes, if that, but overall it's 33%. People tune in 33%.
33%.
Because it doesn't matter minutes, how long was your podcast or your episodes? So there should be a metric in your YouTube account that shows you what percent of your total minutes do people tune into.
I'll take a look at that. I don't think I've seen that. But yeah, I will tell you, because you've been asking me. We're up to about 2,200 now. That's based on 3 shows. So I would like it if we could hit 4,000 with this show and then the next show, but it might take 3. So we'll get there. Remember, you guys, this isn't about me. This is all about Beleaguered Cappy. We don't. It is all about me.
Yeah. No, I was kind of shocked how few, but then I thought, oh yeah, I do. Most of my videos are shorter. But even I think Rolo, I think he's only like 17 minutes or something like that. It is shocking how few people tune into the whole show. And I don't, maybe we consume podcasts differently, but let's say, okay, I'll go with Turd Flinging Monkey, right?
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with his show because he's highly politically controversial and politically incorrect. And I disagree with him on many things, but his analysis is interesting. So he regularly does 6-hour shows. So I download the whole thing and I listen to the whole thing. I listen to Rolo, he'll do a 3-hour show regularly. I'll listen to the whole thing. So when you're on a podcast, not like us on physically a podcast, but like when you're listening to a podcast, why would you only listen to 20 minutes of an hour? Because maybe a segment is 20 minutes. You only want to hear that segment, but you don't know when it starts, when it ends, and which one, let alone that it's good. And this isn't like radio where you're in the car for 20 minutes, then you turn off the car and thus the radio goes off. So I'm absolutely fascinated why you only tune in like to 30% of a show. I find it very interesting. And I'm not judging. I don't know. I'm kind of curious how that works.
I mean, my theory, and I don't know, but I thought maybe people were listening to it in the car, so they put it on in the car and then they drive somewhere and then they're where they need to go. And then that's it. That's what I thought was going on. But
someone was telling me that Apple cuts you off after 10 minutes. Yeah, because Apple doesn't own YouTube. And I guess in a way they're competitors. So if you have an iPhone, you can't just hit play and go on YouTube. I don't know. That may not be correct, but it is odd. We're missing a piece of the formula. There is a legitimate reason people only tune in roughly to a third of everybody's podcast. I'm very curious why, because especially our audiences generally overlap significantly. the more intellectual, deeper thinking, and I thought they would stick around for, oh, let's see what these guys are saying. Oh, let's tune in. But apparently not. I mean, and this is another reason people are doing clips channels, because people's attention span.
Shorts,
Shorts. They do shorts, and there the view time percentage is obviously much higher. But yeah, I was like, what? Really? Only 17 minutes? Like, we did an hour and a half show, but that's how it is.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna. Once we cross that 4,000 threshold, it's like whatever. But yeah.
No, I'd be curious. I mean, in the comments section, I'd be curious why people only tune in, because everyone here, presumably, some people are going to leave. Some people are going to take off, and what I had to deal with my kid, or I just want to tune in a little bit, or.
I mean, some quick comments I'm seeing. Some say that there's an attention span issue with some. Others have said, a lot of people are watching most of it, and others are just coming in for a minute and then leaving.
So then it kind of, all right, yeah, maybe. Oh.
Yeah.
How could you just come in for a minute? That's like having one cookie.
Actually, somebody goes, to make people tune in longer, you got to have a better co-host. I didn't say that person's name.
No, that's all right. I'm used to it. That's fine. That's fine. I'm used to it. That's okay.
Well, I'll have you know that all my followers so far are probably the same ones that Clarey has. So
probably.
I got an email here, and I actually think that you're really going to like this one because it's actually creeping onto your territory, and I think you and I will disagree on our responses.
Really? Okay, I'm very eager.
So this is from Chris. Obviously, I won't say his last name, but it's a last name I hold near and dear to my heart. He goes, Chris, I recently graduated with an MS in accounting and applied for a staff auditor job at the moderately woke big corporation where I currently work. This past week, I received an email from the, quote, talent acquisition team for an interview.
Oh, God.
However,
hang on. Talent acquisition. Oh, God.
Dude, this gets better. This gets better.
Okay.
However, it is an online interview where you are recorded answering pre-selected questions, and then the talent acquisition team will review the video interview. And I assume then decide if you will interview with the actual hiring manager. The email that I received also said that there will be a combination of questions and an interactive gaming challenge.
Challenge?
I know, isn't this great? And so here's his question. He goes, would you ever consider accepting an online interview or an interview with anyone other than the actual hiring manager? Thanks and congrats on 1,000 subscribers. What do you think?
Being purely Machiavellian, because he's already working there, I would take the interview.
Oh, so you agree with me? Okay.
I would, yes, only because it serves his best interest. It's ridiculous. It's a hoop to jump through, but he's already working there. Some Kuanta with a harebrained scheme of an online video, whatever. Okay. Do the online interview. At least it's not HR. Okay. At least you're not talking to an HR ditz, as far as you know. Take the online interview. The game, what was the Star Trek test that no one could pass? It was like a Japanese. Hang on. Let me look it up. I know this is going to be obscure, but I'm going to have to look it up and explain it. Star Trek test that cannot be won. The Kobayashi Maru test. Okay.
Kobayashi.
Yeah, no, it's this. I'm just displaying my geek credentials here. The Kobayashi Maru test is a test they gave aspiring Starfleet officers a test to see how they behave. All right. You can't pass it. And I think Captain Kirk passed it only by reprogramming it and cheating it. and everyone knew, but it was right. He was thinking outside the box. Like, how did you pass it? He's like, it's not passable. The only way to pass it was to cheat. So he like reprogrammed it or something like that, and it shut. So, I think for the video game one, you should kind of do the Kobayashi Maru approach and not cheat on it or like try to hack it. You don't have time, but just like die purposely. Or like if it becomes very apparent this is a stupid ass test, like a video game, and you're like, it's just like, I don't know, because that's what it's so weird. It's like, what is this idiocy going to be? And then like do something that will put you way off the charts, even in a negative way. You're an outlier, statistical outlier. Say, what were you doing? You're like, this is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, what a video game? Look, do you want your books balanced or not? What do you want this place audited or not? Now, you know, if you want to play this game, go ahead. But I'm not, you know, so it would attract more attention to you if you went the opposite way and kind of cheated on the Kobayashi Maru test.
I mean, to me, honestly, this sounds intriguing. Like, I've never had an interview like that before. I mean, I haven't had an interview in a really long time. But what I was going to say was that, you know, and I've talked about this, staff accountants are in demand. Like, he's the one holding the cards in this situation. Right. So because of the low labor supply of them. So my thought was that, you know, instead of saying no, I think he should just do it because it'd be good to get some interview experience in that format. The pressure will be off because he's going to get a job no matter what, either with that firm or another firm. So just sort of have fun with it. And, you know, you never know. He could get an offer and it could be a good opportunity. So I thought you were originally going to say, like, no, don't indulge these people. Just tell them to fuck off. But I agree with you then.
You know, it is only to his advantage to interview with them because let's say he gets a job offer. All right, now he's got a job offer. Now he can leverage that and negotiate higher salary from other places.
Exactly.
Plus, I was also going along with your assumption that he could get a job anywhere else probably as well. But this isn't HR, so I'll grant it that it is different. I'm just kind of curious, like, okay, what's an online interview recorded going to be like? So I'm not against it, and as long as you're not talking to 24-year-old Bipsy. And you know, and ask kind of like, well, who audited these? Was it an HR person or what? But this game, like, that's going to tell you it's a woke large corporation. Already the culture is not going to be a long-term fit. This is get your year, get out, get your CPA. But it just, these games, there's a chance it could be good. But I'm saying it's only a 20% chance, 80% chance some fuckwit in HR came up with this dumb idea. And you're going to be like, yeah, okay, we're going to play games. And all right, never mind. Not for the long run.
All right. Well, Chris, I think you should do it too. So what? Do it. Let us know how it goes. I'm curious what that's going to be like. So, yeah. I had one other email that I just got this morning that I wanted to read. This is more.
These are the quality emails that made it, right? Out of the batch of emails you got, these are the two that made it.
Correct. Okay. This one's more educational, perhaps even a bit somber. And then we have a bunch of course, comments in the chat, questions that, you know, we can get to.
All right.
This one I did get this morning. It says, now listen, I'm going to say up front, I'm not reading this to bash this person. This is not me trying to pile on. This is meant to be a lesson. I'm trying to help you guys. Okay. It says, hello, Chad. I'm reaching out because I need help filing my taxes. I have not filed in years due to several personal factors. And then it says in parentheses, depression, anxiety, relationship issues, etc. I want to move on and get back into school and to buy property, and this is the one thing standing in my way. I believe the last time I filed my tax return was probably in 2010. Yeah. I hope you can guide me through the process and get me back on track. Thank you for your time. Clarey, give me your thoughts.
Read the first part again.
I'm reaching out to you. I'm reaching out because I need help filing my taxes. I've not filed in years due to several personal factors, including depression, anxiety, and relationship issues.
Okay.
I want to move on and get back into school and to buy property, and this is the one thing standing in my way.
Fuck you. You lazy motherfucker. Don't you dare come to me. See, now Chad's a nicer guy. I'm not.
No,
oh, you're
not anymore.
I don't
No, dude.
Shut the fuck up.
Nice
fuck
guy
off.
Chad's dead. Nice guy.
Good. All right, but this is, I mean, I'm so sick and tired. Like, I mean, is this a troll? Is this a troll, do you think?
This actually isn't a troll because whenever I get emails like this, I go to LinkedIn and try to make sure this is a real person. And this is actually legit. I haven't
okay, sorry. You're a weak pussy. You don't file your taxes because you're emotional?
This is a female. In case I should have clarified. In
so
case that
fucking what?
Okay,
I don't give a shit. You fucking
okay.
That's the worst. Strong independent. Don't need no man.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Don't care. You know the problem. You know the solution. Get off your fucking ass and fucking file. I mean, could she even file 10 years, 12 years ago? I mean, like, is the IRS even going to give a shit?
This is the part I was about to get, because so this is the educational. So first of all, I agree with you. I agree with Atham, who says she is a loser. Wahahaha.
I'm so sad.
But because I've been getting a lot of questions, throughout the past couple of weeks about starting your own practice and what to do, early in my career as a solo practitioner, I fell for this. I'd be like, oh, I want to help them. And it was a money-making opportunity because you think that, you're going to do all
They're not going to pay the IRS. They ain't going to pay you.
Yes. So first of all, to answer your question, well, one thing, I don't need, like, my tax software, the furthest back the tax software I have is to 2012. I couldn't even find 2010 and 2011 if I wanted to. You can't do that anymore. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that you can only electronically file tax returns for the last 3 tax years. So that's 2019, 2020, and 2021. You know what you have to do with the rest of them?
Paper file, I'd imagine.
Paper file.
Yeah.
Do you think the IRS is in any position to be processing paper filed tax returns right now?
I'm gonna guess with this piece of shit, degenerate, loser, piece of filth of a human being, she didn't make enough money to even buy shit. Here, I'm gonna guess. Let me go on. Let me guess this. She's probably owed 10 years worth of tax refunds. Probably, am I right?
Guess what? You can only collect for the last 3 years. Otherwise, the IRS keeps it.
So she just, because of her laziness, and that's what it is. Don't fucking give me this depression and relationship problems because of your fucking laziness, sweetheart. 12 years, 9, because you can only go back 9. 9 years times like what? What do you think? 3-4 grand? If there was any kind of, isn't that your standard refund?
Well, okay. Well, I was, remember I looked at LinkedIn just to make sure this is a real person.
Okay, don't mention specifics or anything.
Of course not. Of course not. What do you think they do for a living?
Oh, teacher, some fucking bullshit.
How did you know?
Because they're all the fucking same. They're all weak-ass motherfucking pieces of shit. Fucking, you never went past your sophomore year of high school. I'm going to stay in school. I'm a teacher. I'm help this child. Fuck you. Does she even have a driver's license? Fucking Christ.
Well, anyway,
but teacher, let's say they make 50 grand and you're a single person. I mean, what's your refund? At least 3 grand a year, right?
Could be. It could be between 1 and 3. Yeah, on average. She won't get it at this point.
Still, but 2,000 times 9, that's 18 grand. That's all lost.
Here's the important thing. If she was actually going to pay, if she was actually going to owe taxes, the IRS can match up all this stuff. They would have contacted her. The IRS and Illinois would have contacted her long time ago.
So she was due money.
She was due money for all of those years.
You teachers fucking suck.
Yeah,
my God.
But I guess the one thing I wanted to emphasize to people. So yeah, I'm with you obviously on all of this, but if you guys really are going to start your own practice, you can't make the mistake of taking people like this on, because I know it's tempting and you're like, I can make money. They don't have the money to pay you. Do you think anybody who would not file their taxes for 11 years has any type of documents organized, anything whatsoever?
Oh God, no. Go on. I'm just like trying to wrap my mind around what this person's life is like. That and hey, this is someone teaching your kids, huh?
Right.
Great goal. We need more teachers. Fucking Christ.
I'll tell you after the show what subject she teaches, because it's actually listed in LinkedIn, but
I don't need, I mean, it's it doesn't matter, but well, you could give me the saucy juicy details later, but I just find this funny that finally the laziness catches up with someone like this and they're out 18 grand minimum.
Well, what I early in my career, nice guy Chad and everything, I would almost always take cases like this on, and I'm telling you guys, I regretted it every single time. You always have to say no to people like this. Mm-hmm. I understand they're going to tug at your heartstrings. They're going to be like, I was depressed, anxious. No. Mm-hmm. So
out of curiosity, when you were younger, why would you, I know you think there's money, but wouldn't the work and the tedium involved in getting someone with this much back taxes, like, whoa, no way, man. I know somebody tangentially related to me where they're like 5 years behind and ain't nobody touching them because they don't want to deal with it.
Well, let me at least explain to you my mentality. We're going back to like 2013, 2014. I was just getting the ball rolling. The thing is, and this is why, don't make this mistake, guys. When you're first starting, you're paranoid that you're never going to get any clients because you're just like, I just want clients. I just want to make some money doing this. No, you have to discriminate on who you take on. I'm telling you, you cannot make the mistakes that I made, which was take anybody and everybody. You're so tempted to do that. I know you're scared that turning down a client feels bad because you're like, I'm just having it. No, you guys, you have to say no. You have to say no to people like this. You have to say no to artists. You have to say no to.
I like how you just artists.
Yeah, guys, sorry, don't.
No artists.
They don't have money. They always have expenses that aren't organized. Just 1,000 1099s.
Question. Are they on time, artists? Are they punctual?
They're not on time with their filings. They can barely maintain their appointments when we set them. No offense to you, artists. I have a very strong person in my life who's a fantastic artist. You know that, right? That's
a side gig, though.
Yes, that is a side gig. If you have a client who has does art and makes some money with it on the side, sure. I'm sorry. Don't take actors. Don't take actresses. Don't take artists. Don't take
musicians.
No. I like certain former friends of yours that are musicians, but don't take musicians either.
Don't take musicians.
Also, don't get offended by this, and I don't think you will. You also don't want to take writers.
Writers?
Authors, writers.
Oh, writer. Oh, I thought you meant writers like motorcycle writers.
No.
Writers and authors. Yes. No, I completely agree.
Think Cuddlewooks.
Oh, God Christ.
Yes.
She considers herself an author? She didn't generate any money. What taxes were there to pay on that shit?
Just a lot of expenses that weren't generating income. So you guys, I have nothing against the arts. I swear.
I do. You're all lazy sacks of shit. Fuck you all. There. Okay.
Well, anyway, I really liked that email because I thought I would get a reaction out of you when it came in. So
I was originally pissed, but now I'm happy because she's miserable. Her laziness ended up costing her money. And you think she's ever going to solve her problem?
No, God,
no, I'm never gonna.
But what's she doing saying that she wants to get back into school and buy property?
She's not capable of supporting herself.
I really don't think so. Yeah. Just from the investigation that I did.
That's why I thought it was a troll. I'm like, no one can be this stupid.
This is legit. I'm actually quite certain because I always look it up to make sure it's not.
Hey, lady, I hope your life is miserable. There you go. All right. We're getting pretty dark, but I guarantee she's voting to take more of my money. I'm the
dude. Someone who works in Chicago as a teacher, of course.
Yeah,
they think like a hive mind.
Yeah. Hey, how's it teaching the kids that they're all like transsexual or something? And how is it teaching them to hate me because I have white skin and a penis? How is that working? Are you happy with your life? I'm sure you're gonna raise the next generation of productive society people. Yeah, you go ahead, lady. Oh God.
Well, as you can imagine, and how I was telling you, I can star, questions that we've been getting in the chat. I starred about 20 of them. So I wanted to go through some of these. We got Safety Doc in the chat. So what's up? Athem's in the chat. Nonstop Dre is in the chat. Hasn't he been missing
he texted me. He's doing good. He's moving to an area. I don't know if he wants me to let people know, but he's alive and well. And so it's good. He's been busy though. Yeah.
So he's in the chat.
He didn't fret himself. He didn't take the Fred pill.
You guys don't ever do that.
Don't take the Fred pill.
So, okay, Clarey, this one is probably not your type of question, but I kind of liked it. This is by Dragon. Does it seem, or do you want to read these? Why don't you?
Yeah, please, I'll read it. Does it seem as though everything, living or non-living, in this universe is part of a big simulation? No, because there is sentient, random things that happen with true intelligence and sentience. 95% of the people might seem like NPCs, and they are, but the evidence of me, Chad, Athem, all the regular yahoos that we have here on our channels, we'd be quite literally the 5% of minds that would be proof there is something not scheduled or scripted. But no, people are just they're going with their biological programming, and they're going in such unison that it seems like it's a simulation,
Right.
but they're also lazy. They're making the conscious choice to go the lazy way out, which is why their behavior is so universal. But that is not a simulation. That's just, you might say it's a simulation in that the programming is their genetics, but there's still too many people making a different choice and actually living their life and being different.
Do you know who Scott Adams is, the creator of Dilbert?
Yeah, of course.
He does a daily live stream, and I actually really like it. He talks about that a lot, how we're in a simulation. So,
yeah. Is that why he married the single mom who was 28 years old and she left him?
I think he just thought she was hot and got an ego
you
about
didn't
it.
need to get married. Speaking of people who automatically do things like a robot, how is Scott Adams? So, all right.
So the next question is, by the way, he's still depressed about the divorce, but anyway.
What kind of work should inspiring tax professionals specialize in that, in your opinion, can't be automated, government can't do, and that are in high demand / you can bill out a lot to clients?
What are your thoughts first?
Well, I'm going to think taxes are forever going to be around, even though it would be eliminated by a sales tax. I think there's too many people vested in the tax code being this complex, which is odd, but it is what it is. So, but he already denotes that should aspiring tax professionals, so you should know the difference between inspiring and aspiring. So he's already in the right. Yeah, he's inspiring. Should inspire. I don't think tax professionals inspire anyone. But yeah, I think he's in the right field. I would think maybe aside from doing taxes, I would look at asset protection trusts, tax abatement issues, things that you could lower people's tax bills like. But yeah, I think he's in the most lucrative field there is, tax.
I mean, I'm going to broaden this a little bit. You guys, as long as businesses are around, whether it's small businesses or corporations, hell, rental properties. You had a rental property.
Horse farms?
Hobby loss rule, hobby versus business. As long as America, it's becoming a gig economy. I don't have any concerns about the government automating any of this. Like, they can automate the stuff that you should frankly be using TurboTax for, W-2s and, things like that. But there's just too many business expenses, too many rules, too much depreciation. There's too many gray areas. So my answer is that you don't really have to specialize necessarily. Just get involved with small businesses and rental properties. Government can't automate that.
From a tax, yes, from a tax, but yes,
yeah. Read this one.
How about if we just defund the IRS?
I think that is an excellent idea. Yeah.
Do you really? Like, there shouldn't be any government tax authority to collect. I mean, the government does need taxes, and if you don't have an enforcement arm, people aren't going to pay them.
I know. I'm kind of being facetious, and I actually I hate to admit this. I do have a little bit of sympathy for the IRS because they don't have the tools to compete with those of us who are going up against them. They don't have the technology. They don't have the staff.
They don't have the numbers.
They don't have the numbers.
I mean, and again, we talked about it on the last show. The Democrats are not making it any easier for the IRS, lobbing on all these extra rules and regulations and laws. I mean, if anything, you should simplify it so the staff of the IRS can actually enforce those laws.
I hate to agree, but I actually do. Now, I understand Biden's heart was in the right place about the whole 83 million to fund the staff, try to get more people. Mm-hmm. The salaries there, I looked at them because I was curious. The salaries that they're offering to bring in new revenue agents, they're just not high enough because right now with the shortage of accountants, we can make so much more money not working for the government.
What if instead of defunding the IRS, we defunded all liberal arts programs and took that money and said, but we'll pay for an accounting degree. And then in 6 to 8 years time, you should slowly have enough accountants coming online to help out with that, right?
It's not a bad idea, but the problem is that accounting has a stereotype of being boring, tedious, monotonous. So I think this is part of the supply problem. The millennials and the Gen Z, whatever they're called, they're not becoming accountants.
They're not becoming anything. Yeah.
Well, they're not becoming anything. But that's part of the reason why part of my goals in this streams I've been doing is to educate people. You can be an accountant. It's not that bad. So
hey, hang on. Are you ready for the comment I always get about engineering where I want to hunt these people down and kick them in the nuts?
What's that?
But Chad, if we all get our CPAs, then our CPA won't be worth anything.
Well, you know what, Clarey? You know, it's hard for women to stay thin.
If we all work out, become 10s, the girls would just go after 11s.
Tell me you're a lazy fuck who doesn't want to work at anything without telling me you're a lazy fuck. If everybody, not even a fraction of 1% of the people are going to do it. Like that's why people get paid so much. It's because it is boring, tedious, monotonous work.
The thing is, what pisses me off about that is that, like, there are some actually neat parts about it. You know, it's really not, it's not like you're sitting there just, you know, being a pencil neck, you know, office drone the whole time. There's cool things you get to do.
Okay, all right. What are the cool things you get to do? I'm curious about this. What's the really hip, cool stuff accountants get to do?
I get all kinds of perks for some of the business, not therapists, obviously, because I do a lot of. I mean, you know, I got a couple restaurants. I got a couple of
okay. You get a little barter and payment and trade kind of thing. You get a little free meal here or something.
You do that.
Okay.
I'm going sailing on Friday, aren't I?
All right, you're going sailing. All right. How would that be different than any other entrepreneur? Like, I mean, idiot me, technically I'm an entrepreneur. I get invited on boats. I get free meals, you know, here or there. People buy me a cigar.
Because now, actually, you're in the same boat, what I'm about to say. And this is only recently a thing. Because you know what, Clarey? I can work from here. I can work from down south. I can work from Malaysia if I want to.
Right.
So that's why I think y'all ought to consider it. I always wanted to be location independent, and now I am.
Okay, so that's a huge benefit, but that's a fringe benefit. I thought you were going to say, "Oh, accounts payable is really
no,
fuck
that. Like, that's boring as shit." I'm talking about the intangible. Like there are a lot of good sides to it now.
The life and the flexibility of the career that it affords you, or the life and the flexibility this career affords you, is almost worth more than the money it pays. All right.
I think it is.
Okay, so cool.
Let's see what's next. Not that. Okay.
Hey, Chad, would you advise a younger man join the military as he gains education while serving to become an accountant?
That might actually be a you question. You're always saying people should join.
Yeah, I think he wants your opinion because I always say the same thing. Yes.
I would say yes. I mean, can you do that though concurrently? No, because you would have to.
You can go to school while you're in the military. The military
ROTC. Yeah.
You could go to school before you join the military and have the military pay for it. That's ROTC. While you're in the military, unless you're like deployed or super busy, you could take classes online. I think sometimes the government will even pay for it, or the military will pay for it. And then after you get out, you got the GI Bill.
That's true, yeah.
So it's but I always tell the military guys, if you're in the military, don't wait until you get out to start using your GI Bill. I mean, well, you will have to wait until you get out to use your GI Bill, but usually the military has some kind of classes you could take, or they'll subsidize or pay for some classes. So yeah, at least get your prereqs out of the way. But you know, you got some free time on base, might as well use it wisely.
I'll just say 75% of the people I was really able to take seriously in my MBA program were people that were there on the GI Bill, because they're actually normal human beings and not complete fucktards. Okay. I want you to say who's leaving this comment.
Oh yeah. See, now I told him to come out to the show, and now he's back. Dre's back. Here he is. He hasn't missed a beat. Nonstop Dre 360. When is Vlad getting married? But the real question is, will Cappy be invited? I am not going to answer that question because I don't think you need to be put in that position. But I'm just going to say marriage is stupid.
I'm not going to answer the question either, but I will say, Clarey, if I ever do get married, regardless of who it is, I think you'll get an invite.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know somebody else will get an invite of the Hispanic persuasion, maybe.
Oh, you guys would be wanting.
God, you'd have to, dude. Could you imagine going to a wedding with Atham? That just sounds like so much fucking fun. Just it'd be.
It really does. You'd have to be part of the wedding party in that one.
Well, I don't know. I think wedding crashing. Okay. Right now, if I had to come up with a better wedding crasher wingman, I can't think of anyone better than Atham. Atham would be a pretty good wingman to have go wedding crashing with.
I think so too.
I think so. Yeah. Chad, would you move up to a manager title from senior in public accounting? Is the hassle client responsibilities worth the extra 20 to 40K?
Do you have a guess on that?
I think what we should do is a Siskel and Ebert kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
where if they agreed, or one agreed, one disagreed, and the other way around, and kind of keep track of how much we agree. I'm going to say, fuck no, not 20 to 40K. Absolutely not.
I've heard really bad things from some of the managers I know that have worked in Big Four. It's stressful. You're not at a partner level, so you don't get the perks of a partner, but you do have added responsibility. And I personally wouldn't do it, but I'm not really a fan of public accounting at this point. I would say no. I don't think I would do it. I think I would go move out and do something else.
I'd also put it in the context of opportunity cost. I mean,
Yeah.
What would you have to do to earn an extra 20 to 40 grand? Like, could you do that? Because let's say you're going to be a manager. You go from senior accountant to manager, right?
Yeah.
You're doing at least another 10 hours a week, right?
Oh, dude, 20.
20? Okay, so 20 hours a week. Can you do accounting on the side for $50 an hour? You can't? Why can't he? Because the rules?
Oh, I'm saying outside of this, he can.
Outside of this,
yeah. Outside of it, he can. Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
so he can make way more money with that extra time and start working on his side self-employment gig. I would absolutely. In other words, before you take on the added responsibilities of promotion, you take that time and put it towards self-employment. Heck, even working as a bartender, you'd make more money than an extra 20 grand a year.
Yeah. Let me just qualify this. If you really want, if you want to be a partner at a Big Four, which I don't think you should do, then yeah, obviously you would say yes. I don't think I would do it.
Do you know any happy partners at the Big Four?
Not really. I mean, their wives are fat and they hate them. They make a lot of money, but
yeah. I know one guy, and he was pretty base, but he was old school.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he's got to be retired by now, I'd imagine. But it's kind of neat meeting him, and he was one of the Big Four. I was like, whoa, no kidding, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, holy cow. But he was an interesting cat. I don't want to identify his hobbies because they were interesting. But I can't imagine. I don't know any. I know because I'm of the age now. Several people I know, not necessarily friends, made it to partner at a prestigious law firm in the Twin Cities. They weren't happy before. They're certainly not happy now. Yeah, I would not. I don't think it's worth becoming partner at all for these large firms.
You just said something profound there. You guys, if you were unhappy before you joined public accounting, I can promise you're going to be less happy afterwards. I'd take that to the bank. This one I'm going to read just because LJ was. LJ says, Chad, you were right about your advice, which is to leave the Big Four to go find other things.
Okay.
Now that I'm near to quitting study for the CPA, the Big Four is totally kissing my ass. Yes. LJ, you're in demand now. The tables have turned. So good. I'm happy to hear that.
I wouldn't even stick around the Big Four simply because of their sexist and racist nature. Just don't even bother. I mean, there's no reason to be there.
Yeah, I agree. I'll answer this one, or I'll read it. Charles Seacon. Chad, why did you take the red pill, when and where? Past episode.
Interesting.
Well, actually, you're kind of a part of this, Clarey. I could never figure out why I was so miserable working for incompetent bosses. I know some people come to the red pill because of dating and women and things like that. For me, it was actually career. I'm not saying I was like some Casanova with women, but I hated working for incompetent people. It's like, why do I have to do all the work and then report to people that don't know what they're doing? And so that's when I started going on YouTube and I found the red pill, and that's where I discovered some of your videos. This is 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, the career path. Yeah, it's interesting. Not everyone comes in through the girl saw, although you had plenty of reason to take the red pill with girls.
Well, you might say that I took it a little bit too late in that area.
You took it in time, man. At least you didn't get like, oh, assault and abuse. Like, nope, you got out as that Death Star was blowing up, just like in Return of the Jedi. If you're an EA and a CPA, how do you do your certifications? Prepare a guy EA CPA or prepare a guy CPA EA?
You can list both, but I'm not trying to be a snob here. CPA is obviously a lot more prestigious than an EA. My whole point earlier was that if it's too much work and money and time to get your CPA and you want to do taxes for a living, just get your EA. You don't have to, kill yourself. So say CPA first, and you can add EA at the back.
Which one will get me the girl some more?
Neither.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. Okay, let's see the next one.
Can you talk about the benefits of CPA? What's the salary difference between a CPA and EA?
That's too heavy of a subject. I'll just say that CPA allows you to work in all areas of accounting, whereas EA, you're limited to just tax. So it's less about salary and more about flexibility. Plus, CPA is more prestigious, so it's going to open more doors.
Does an EA have to physically meet with the clients, or since taxes are largely going online, that is also going online? All right, so you could be relatively remote work as an enrolled agent.
Right. Okay. What I tell people like who want to start their own firms is that the only difference between a CPA and an EA is marketing, because your average person knows that a CPA does taxes, but your average person doesn't even know that an EA exists. So that's your real challenge. It's not really a competency thing.
So if I'm at the bar and I say I'm an enrolled agent, actually, agent sounds good. A girl might, I work with the IRS. I'm an enrolled agent. I work with the IRS. That sounds really sexy, though.
It's kind of a cool name.
That is kind of. It is. Like, I'm an agent. You know, I'm an enrolled agent.
I don't get to be agent.
You don't get to be agent.
Clarey, I've been waiting for this one. I want you to read it.
Chad, when you get monetized, I hope you use the funds to acquire a better co-host. Say Rich Cooper. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Eric Burns Martin.
As if Rich would ever come on here. He can't even say my name right.
Rich might come on the show. He's not
important enough.
There's a difference. There's a difference between arrogant and busy. He's incredibly busy. I'm incredibly busy. But I'm sure he's okay. We all give him guff because he looks like the grizzled, old, pissed off old man. And he is kind of that. You talk to him, he's the nicest guy. He's very happy. It's just, I think not even the persona or the image he gives off. It's just that I think he's so short on patience for stupidity that it comes off as like it's like, no, he probably gets hit with a lot of stupid questions. And so
I bet he does.
He's always a good host to have on.
He did give me the nickname, which I really like. So I'll give Rich credit for that. I'll read this one. Safety Doc. Chad, where's my blue wrench? So right now, Atham is the only moderator, but Doc, you're about to be moderator number 2. Okay.
Don't make me a moderator. I wouldn't know what to do with it.
I want to be a moderator. Clarey?
Any reason to keep tax records after 7 years?
Not really. If you have your own business, it might be a little bit better, but they're not going to audit you, more than 7 years in the past.
Do I need, because I'm not joking. When I was moving, one of the main things was my boxes for tax receipts. Can I start getting rid of like 10 years or do I have to hold on to 10 years?
Dude, no.
What, 7 years is what I hold on to?
7 years is probably the magic number. 5 is when you're probably safe, more than 5 to get rid of.
Yeah, but okay, worst case scenario, they're going to ask for 7 years?
The absolute worst case scenario. But Clarey, you got to be like really, they have to think you're screwing them quite a bit.
Okay, I have to be approaching criminal, not simple negligence or mistakes. Okay, all right.
Also, remember who your tax accountant is.
I like to have everything covered so that if there is ever a problem, guess what I can do?
Call me.
Solve it as quickly as possible. There's going to be problems. Paying my estimates. There's always going to be problems. I like to have it so that I could solve the problem as quick. This is why I got like tire patch repair. I got a lot of tools in each vehicle. I have when I grab my gun case, there's silver and iodine pills in them all, as well as extra bullets. Like I want the solution quick. I don't want to be messing around. So all right, I know to keep it for 7.
All right. Clarey, do you know this one? He's around.
He's on the show every once in a while. Have you done any work in real estate cost segregation? I don't know. Is it that complicated? Saw it mentioned a few times on tax jobs applications. I don't even know what real estate cost segregation. Like you allocate costs?
I'm not even sure what that is. The reason I wanted you to read this was because just for those that do want to get into tax, real estate is almost like a very, very specific niche. Like there's all these, special rules, real estate professional versus non-real estate professional. I don't go near that. That's a little bit too nuanced. So I avoid that stuff.
Yeah, I've never heard of based on what the words say, you own a portfolio of companies and you allocate some overhead to each one, but I could be completely wrong.
You're actually correct. And I just want to point out that like I get a lot of requests these days, new client requests, like, and half of them involve real estate. And I always just say to them, look, I'm not the guy for that. So I'd like you to read this one.
Nonstop Dre 360. Don't forget about Chad's cam girl clients. That's the fun part of your job. That's a fun side. That's an interesting part.
If they weren't such interesting ladies, I would have gotten rid of them a long time ago because they are the same as the artists. Yeah, they're just a mess, but they are actually quite nice. And, it's just an interesting field that's obviously going to grow. So I'm keeping the few I have around.
Do you think it's going to grow, or you don't think it's saturated?
No, I don't think it's saturated.
Really? What makes you say that?
Just because, and I'm making assumptions here, it seems like the widening gap between the sexes, the haves and have-nots about who has meaningful relationships and who doesn't. I feel like everything's becoming kind of a virtual world more and more and more, with the younger generations.
Yeah, but don't you think we're there already? Like 90% of what's going to happen has already happened?
Every time I meet somebody who's like a Zoomer or whatever, I lose sort of hope. I hate saying this. I lose hope in the future every day. I just kind of feel like it's soon going to be like that movie Cherry 2000. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Where it's like contractual and it involves sex robots and things like that. And
Cherry 2000.
You might like it. Yeah.
Wow. That sounds.
You remember Sandman?
Yeah, Hello.
Hi guys,
Sandman here.
Yeah.
Years ago, he did one. He has 1 billion videos at this point, but he did one on that, and I thought that was one of his best. So to answer your question, I think it's going to get worse, with the cam girls. I really do.
I think we're already, the future is now. I think we're already there. I don't know how much worse it can get. Because I don't know anyone young that's like in relationships. Long-term happy ones. I think most of it is online. And I think since all the girls flooded into that market, the prices are, economically speaking, the prices are down.
Yeah.
What women are, I think it's $180 a month on average.
So the prices are, I guess it is becoming more saturated. I guess I just don't see the market going away anytime soon at this point.
Yeah, no, it's not going to go belly up. But I don't think get in on the ground floor of cam girling. That has long passed.
The gap is definitely, for my clients and in general, the gap is widening between the haves and have-nots when it comes to OnlyFans. It really is.
Oh, you mean in the webcam girl world, the top 2% are taking all the right? Well, that's kind of always been the case.
Yeah, but it seems like it's really. These next two,
I'm no webcam girl expert, but maybe if you weren't fat and had a bunch of tattoos and a bunch of piercings and you actually look like a girl, maybe you'd make more money. I don't know. Just me. I don't know. But
last thing about this, what really bothers me is that a couple of my cam girls have really let themselves go physically in the last few years, but they're still getting all this money, and I'm just like, why? But
maybe they got a motif. They got a niche.
They apparently do when I look at their 1099s.
Remember that one girl that was really beautiful? I was going to set you up with her, and then she gained all that weight.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. That was the first one when I finally split with Cuddlebooks. That was the first one you brought to my attention.
Yep.
I'm going to read these next two. They're from Doc, and I thought they were funny one-liners. Safety Doc says, Aaron served 20 years as the captain in the Salvation Army. And then on the dynamic that you and I have, Safety Doc says, more like a Bert and Ernie going on here. So
presumably you're Ernie and I'm Bert because I'm so pissed off at the teacher lady.
That sounds about right. Go ahead and read this one.
Stand Up. Is it worth the time and what? Isn't that? Oh, Stand Up.
I like the name.
Yeah, that's good. Is it worth the time and money investment to get a CPA in the Lone Star State? 1 year of working under CPA and have to get a master's in accounting just to take the exam.
Again, I'm going to go back to what I said about EAs. If you've already got an accounting degree, then like the Lone Star State, which I like a lot, is a very good place to become an accountant. There's plenty of business available. But if you're changing careers and you want to do tax, no, it's not worth it to get a CPA. So same answer, essentially. Read that one.
Can't the IRS go back only 3 years?
No, for criminal matters, they can actually go back for 7 years. That's what really got Wesley Snipes, that case I was working on. So no, they can go back further.
So let me ask you this. Let's say I committed I don't know, massive tax fraud 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's 10 years ago. It does it, past the statute of limitations or something?
There's actually been a lot of this is my days at criminal DOJ.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that couldn't get prosecuted because the statute of limitations actually had passed.
No kidding. So if you make it 10 years, whatever it is, you got away.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting.
People get away. People get away with it. This one I thought you might like reading.
Happy Father's Day to the both of you for all the young men you gentlemen have shared your knowledge with. Well, thank you, Mighty Zone.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Is it Father's Day today?
I think it's next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend.
I got a question for you. Do you remember Father's Day and your dad's birthday?
I remember my dad's birthday because I do his tax return, but he also has the same birthday as Michael Jordan. But Father's Day, I grew up abroad. We didn't really have Father's Day abroad. So
yeah, I don't remember any of my parents' birthdays or Father's Day or Mother's Day. I barely get Mother's Day because you're reminded of it if you go grocery shopping, like, oh shit, it's coming up. But I don't know my dad's birthday. I don't know my mom's birthday. I think it's in September sometime. And they're all like I think my dad is all right with that, but my mom's like, oh, you never know. I'm like, I don't have you ever forgotten your own birthday because you were working so much or doing a late night shift and it just all of a sudden, I recognize this date. What? And
my birthday's
past it?
Well, my birthday's in July, and with work and school, I never have busy Julys, so I've never actually forgotten my birthday.
I've missed mine twice. Where all of a sudden it's the next day. I'm like, what? Wait, what is? Oh shit! It was yesterday. So
I can never forget your birthday because that's the same day one of my good buddies got a vasectomy, so I'll never forget that.
Plus, you're my tax accountant.
Of course, I've got everybody's birthday. Who's my
client. You're just like my mom.
Clarey, he's asking, read this. That might be for you.
Me, Mike. Question, Chad. How do I not become a millennial? A guy on the internet says not to become one.
I guess you better get the book.
You have to get the book, How Not to Become a Millennial.
Hopefully that one's still doing well.
It's not. It's not. No. I don't know if it's because I didn't put my name on it and Vince bought me out of it or what, but I've advertised it as much as I could. It is like 95% written by me. It's kind of interesting. Whereas, okay, so if I change the name, it tanks the sales that much. So, yeah, I don't know, but Vince's rights reverse back to me if he passes away. And Vince is an older man, and
he is.
Yeah, and I'll tell you later. Interesting story, but a good guy though. No besmirchment on Vince, but I'll tell you the different story. So,
okay, read that one.
Nonstop J 360. What would Chad's life be like now if he had kids with his ex cuddle?
I would have committed suicide.
I would have advised you to. Yeah, I would. Yeah, no joke. No joke.
No, I'm being serious. I'm serious. I wouldn't have wanted to live being tied to her.
I would have. I'm not joking. I would have taken her out so the kids would not have suffered and taken myself out. There's no way. At least no way. Thank God she doesn't have kids because I could not imagine those poor kids being brought up.
She better not have kids. God.
I don't know if she can.
Probably can't. I want you to read this, but I want you to answer it for yourself if you're willing.
All right. Question: if Chad could get his first pick, which woman guest would he have on his podcast?
Have you ever thought about that?
Not really.
I don't really have an answer either. I think I would get one of my cam girls on here just because I think you guys would really
be interesting.
Yeah. And I know a couple that would be very much willing to do it. So, yeah. You don't have an answer?
I know this is going to sound horrible, but I don't know what they would bring to the table. I honestly don't. Like if Anne Rand was still alive, I would.
How about this?
I'd have. Yeah. Well, she's been on the show. Mary Jo. I'd have her on because she's pleasant and funny. She's just a nice girl. I guess I'd have Mary Jo out of all of them. But like if we're talking like deep, Charlie Rose type of interview, we'd have to go resurrect like Catherine the Great or or somebody, I guess Ava Mendes, but I'd be like, you're hot. Are you wearing lingerie? Show me your tits. Okay, see ya. Bye. That'd be about it.
Margaret Thatcher? Nah.
Yeah, Margaret Thatcher. Yeah, I'd have Margaret Thatcher. Sure. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
I'll read this one. Atham. Chad should invite me the next week's live stream. You know what, man? You can come
Maybe
anytime.
You could have, Maybe I could take a week off.
Just let me know. This one, Bacon, it's so great to see you. Bacon, I was home Friday night, and I hung in there for almost your entire show. If for those that don't know, Bacon shows last between
8 hours.
5 hours and 8 hours.
Yeah.
I wish I had Bacon's ability to just to talk like that.
And his right to write off booze. You can write off his booze.
You better be doing that, and cigars
and
food.
cigars. Yeah.
This one I'll answer. Thomas Crown. Wait, Chad worked on a Wesley Snipes case. Yes, when I worked for DOJ tax for 2 years, that was the only case I worked on. It was that big. So,
wow, that's a lot. 2
nice.
years
He's
on
a nice
one
guy.
case. I'm sure he is. A lot of these, may I point out, like, let's say, okay, let me run this past you. Okay, so Wesley Snipes is a nice guy. I would imagine Jason Momoa is a nice guy.
Mhm.
I would imagine Sylvester Stallone is a nice guy. Now, why would I assume these guys are nice guys?
Well, they don't need to beat anybody up because no one's going to mess with them, right?
Well, okay, but why would no one mess with them?
Well, because they're movie stars. They're big.
They're jacked, right? They
Yeah.
work out, right? And I think if you work out to that point, you must have some kind of discipline and maturity then about you that you would probably understand humility, modesty, humbleness as well. And you just have a good work ethic and respect other people's time. And so
Yeah,
I
exactly.
always associate like people who work out and are in very good physical shape. That is a sacrifice. That is an investment. So I would presume that they're also very friendly and fair in their interactions with other people.
Exactly. So, all right, this is going to be the last question because remember, I try to keep these between
Mhm.
90 and 100 minutes.
Why do you,
So,
out of curiosity, why you do that?
I've always felt like that's a good length because, like, once we get to 2 hours, I feel like
Yeah.
that's like when it's really starting to drag on. That's just
Okay.
my opinion, but
It
yeah.
drags on when the topics drag on. Otherwise, never end a podcast just because it's that time. Like if you're on fire, do it. Like Great One will always end his podcast early because for whatever reason, the audio he has it chime in and then he'll come back and finish it. So like, don't worry, you could go on forever if you want.
Well, I also want to be considerate to you because I know you're on vacation and yeah.
I wanted to do this. And I'm at the point now where, dude, so much stuff is done. Did I show you the Pac-Man that I got?
Yeah, you sent it. That's really cool.
So I assembled that. I got, by the way, everybody, because I'm a minimalist, I did buy myself a table Pac-Man. Not an original. That would cost $4,000. That you could get one at One Up Arcade, and they got them for $700 among other and there's like 12 other games there. So I always wanted that, so I got that.
Did it take you a long time?
It took about 2 hours to assemble it. Yeah. And you had to make sure the electronics were right and all that. So it was not as intuitive as you would hope. But yeah, I mean, I'm caught up with everything. And my other option is to go to the cigar lounge again. Or,
fun.
Well, yeah, but I'm finally to the point where like, no, I think I may just sit and play video games or,
cool.
So I'm caught up with, I just want to point out, I am not a hypocrite, but some stuff had to be finished. We had to vote today. Today was an election in South Dakota.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yep. But aside from those, cars needed repairs, but aside from that, I'm totally chilled out now. Oh, and the tornado chasing kid is showing up tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Are there storms out in
Nebraska right now, but he's on his way to Montana to visit another buddy. So he's just going to crash here. So he gets a shower, can do his laundry. Because, the poor kid lives in a van, for months at a time. No, I remember when I was younger, someone let me crash on their couch when I was traveling across the country. I'm absolutely thankful for it. So,
well, he's often down in the Lone Star State when I'm there. So
you guys could, So I like to help out the kid every once in a while. But I am on vacation. I want to do this. I can't play video games and smoke cigars all the time. I need to go and talk to people every once in a while.
Well, that makes me feel better.
May I point out real quick? Can you click on Donna Hannaford?
Yes. 1 second. I just have to scroll. Was it recent? I can't.
5:08 p.m.
Okay, so that would be 6:08 here. Hold on, let me scroll up.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm just all I'm saying is she watched the show instead of tuned in to Terrence Pop.
No, I'm almost there. I'll find it because I think I know what comment you're talking about, and I saw it earlier, and I debated putting it on there. So 1 second.
I just like the fact she's tuning in. That's a compliment to you. Like that you got Terrence Pop's Australian fangirl tuning into you instead. That's pretty good. Stealing her from Pop.
Well, basically, I can't find the comment, but she basically came here instead of Pop. So I appreciate that, Donna. And I've seen you on Bacon Stream and a few other streams, so I appreciate that. I'm going to read this one real quick. Stand Up asks, probably a dumb question, which it's not. You can't work for the Big Four with an EA, right? It's actually incorrect. you can't get a job at the ground floor. You can't become a staff accountant with the Big Four with just an EA. That's just not going to fly because they want you to have an undergrad and be on the CPA track. But if you've been working for several years, you have good work experience, but you're only an EA, but you're really good at your job, hell yeah, they'll bring you on board. I'm not saying you should work for the Big Four, but they will. So, yeah. Now they're going to make you get your CPA, but they will pay for it. So,
are they making you get your CPA now?
Yes. Otherwise, you can't work there.
Oh, darn.
You can't stay.
I wonder if there's going to be a labor shortage. I wonder if they're going to complain about not being able to find enough people. I wonder.
I'll read this one too. The rational male Rollo Tomasi would be a great guest on Chad's podcast, The Red Pill and the Accounting Show. I would love it if if I was ever important enough for Rollo to appear on the stream. I'd actually really like it, but I've got a long way to go before that's.
You know what's great? If he ever came on your show,
he would talk the whole time.
You could sit down, go bathroom, get some dinner, come back. He'll take care of it all. He'll still be going. Yeah, you don't have to worry about nothing.
He probably doesn't have any tax questions. Go ahead and read that one.
Nonstop Dre, would Chad ever do a 24-hour stream?
If it got me to 4,000, viewing hours, I might.
I wouldn't even do a 24-hour stream. That's just like what's his name? Jerry Lewis do the telethon. He'd do like 24 hours straight. Yeah, and then he got.
That's right.
Safety Doc. Did you see Safety Doc about Mike Wazowski?
I did. Hold on, let me put that on there. Safety Doc says Mike Wazowski started the mailroom at Monsters Inc. Yeah,
it's a great movie.
Go ahead and read that one.
If I can get an EA, how much can I make? Abs hour.
Abs hour.
I'm reading what they write. You're gonna make $0 if you don't spell out your fucking sentences. If I get an EA, how much can I make an hour? An hour? Is that what you meant? Can I get full-time job year round? Oh, that's a good question. Can you get full-time year round? Just tax season.
Just tax season. Because if you're okay, well, let me backtrack. If you start your own practice like I have, there's always little things I can do, June, July, and August like I'm doing now. But typically when you're an EA and you don't have your own practice, that means you're probably working for H&R Block. And obviously you're not going to have a job all year with H&R Block. It just doesn't work that way. Or a place like H&R Block. An EA does limit you to tax. So I would say the only way you're going to have full-time employment all year is if you start your own shop. Mm-hmm. And how much you can get per hour?
40?
No, he can make more than that. It just depends if you run your own shop. If you're working for H&R Block or, places like that, they're not going to give you a whole lot per hour. But if you do make it into the Big Four or in any public accounting firm, even corporate accounting, doing taxes and EA, you'll make more. Actually,
could you just open up your own account or your own business?
Sure. And actually, Oxnet here says I'm an EA and I work year round in an accounting firm. So yeah, it can be done. It absolutely can be done. So I stand corrected. I'm
just wondering if there's that much desperate need, why don't you just start your own accounting firm? You have to pair with a CPA to kind of give the blessing and sign off on certain documents. But it just seems like a very simple thing. You could almost start immediately on the side, get your certification, and guarantees you a little bit of side income during the tax year. And then you could prostitute yourself out to other accounting firms as a 1099er.
Well, to start out, yes, it wouldn't be a bad idea to partner with a CPA. But I do want to clarify here. If you're an EA and you start your own firm, you don't need to have a CPA sign off on anything. You don't need anybody's approval. Yes, this is the EA is a great certification because it's sponsored by the IRS. You can represent taxpayers in front of the IRS, and you can file tax returns. You can prepare and file them. And the EA is a good deal, I think I'm
going to become one like that, work for the railroads or work for the sheriff's office over in Custer. If I ever get like doxxed or Me Too'd or deplatformed or whatever. But that EA thing sounds pretty, it could happen.
No, I was laughing at Bacon's comment here. And all this time I thought EA was a game.
Yeah, really shitty one. EA spawn. Here comes EA jokes.
It's in the game.
Man.
No, an EA, honestly, if you guys are certain that tax is something you want to do, an EA is a fantastic option. I mean that. Yeah.
Safety Docs writes, EA Sports, it's in the game. Madden Accounting 2023. Chad Elkins is on the cover. Didn't Madden die recently?
He did, actually, in the last 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy. Poor guy's rich as hell, making his bank off of that every year.
He really did well. Go ahead and ring this one.
Django Geek. Hope I didn't ask my question too late at Chad Elkins Questions. Hey, Chad, do you know any case laws that outline how to qualify for trader tax status?
Oh, I saw you asking that earlier, and I deliberately didn't click on it because my answer is no, full stop.
There we go. All right. Glad we answered that one.
Yeah. Well, I'm out of questions, so I can
Cool.
I can let you go. But dude, thanks for coming on. Yeah.
No problem.
I would like to. I'll be down south again next Tuesday, but if you're free, we can do the same time. We'll talk.
Hit me up again. I may have 2 little girls over that want to do fossil hunting. And
that's okay.
Yep. Yeah. And maybe they'll swing into the creek. Hopefully, it won't be 43 degrees. No, you can't. You have to go. You have to commit to it, because if you back down, then they lose all. And then you know who wins?
Who?
My sworn rival, Uncle Brian. Uncle Brian of the Uncle Wars,
Yeah.
The Uncle Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Uncle Brian, I got him. And man, he's a hard guy to beat. He's got a farm. So he's got horses and dogs and cats and yaks and mules and this and that and tractors and all that other stuff. And I'm the underdog in this fight. So I cannot let Uncle Brian win. I got to show no fear, and I got to commit to it all the way through. So if we're going to do the swinging rope, it doesn't matter what temperature it is. I got to go in there. So
let me just do this last thing real quick. Do you hypothetically, and I mean extremely hypothetically, do you really think Fresh and Fit would ever have a tax accountant on there that talks about taxes?
Yes, they would.
You really think so?
They do Money Mondays.
They do? Okay.
Yeah, they have me on. I don't know where the video is. I wish they posted, or maybe they did. They just didn't tell me about it. But I was on the show, legit 6 strippers / prostitutes, 3 on one side, 3 on the other. Yep. And we had a great conversation about, frankly, how these girls made more money than girls with college degrees.
No kidding.
Yeah. I mean, their lives were miserable. They didn't save any of the money. They had no retirement plan. I take that back. One girl was actually quite savvy with her money, but it was fascinating where it's like, oh, really? You mean female sexuality has a beauty or has a value that men are willing to pay for, and you make more than girls with college degrees? No shit. Tell me more. But it was a fascinating, they just naturally went with the assets God gave them, and they made way more money than your average college graduate. Certainly more than that teacher who,
Well, it sounds like they've had accountants on as guests several times. If they ever offered me the opportunity, I would take it.
Let's get you to 4,000 before you go on the Phil Donahue show and Oprah invite Phil. Let's just wait until maybe we get a
Dr. Phil.
Yeah, Dr. Phil.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Clarey, for coming. You probably don't want to hawk anything, so I won't.
I'm kind of too tired. I guess my book, The Menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex, you all know it. The Book of Numbers, Analyzing the ROI and the Pursuit of Women. Get the Millennial book, How Not to Become a Millennial. That's a great book. I mean, if you hate the younger people who thought they knew everything way more than you and are now living at home and asking for a student loan bailout for their journalism degree, get that book. And if you're a millennial and you're in financial troubles or not where you'd like to be financially, also get that book. It's not anti-millennial. It's very pro-millennial. It's just you have to understand that when someone is constructively critical of you, that doesn't mean they hate you. They're trying to help you. So I don't know if you're still all about your feelings. You need a participation trophy at 37 while living at home. And I didn't file my taxes since 2010. I mean, if you're that type, it's pretty hopeless. And your life is going to be, the rest of your life is going to be miserable anyway. But I don't know if you want to make the last half of your life count, get that book.
I have to craft a response to that teacher.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to respond to anything. You're just going to ignore it. How many guys that would have made a great husband did she ignore when they asked her out?
Probably plenty. And remember, I know what she looks like.
Is she a pretty gal?
No.
No. Oh, all right. Never mind then.
But that doesn't mean she still had, trust me, she had opportunities. So,
all right. Have you come up with a saying to end these yet?
I have.
Problems?
Guys, we should hang out soon. All right. Thanks, Clarey. We will catch y'all later.
Let's try this again. You deliver it, right?
Yeah, and then
we
you
should say we should hang out soon. End it. That's it. Let's try it again.
Hey y'all. We should hang out soon.